Welcome to Higher Level Gaming. I'm Katie, and today we're talking about Sony. Earlier this week, as a response to the crisis in Ukraine, Sony decided to pull all product sales from Russia. But for me, this story has been largely overshadowed by the allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination at the company. In November 2021, former IT analyst Emma Maho at PlayStation filed a lawsuit against them for gender discrimination and sexual harassment. Sony moved to dismiss the complaint, stating that there was a lack of specific evidence. 8 more women have now joined her case. As this Polygon article states, these women provided written statements of support detailing instances of sexism at the company and across multiple offices in the United States. The allegations described in these documents range from devaluing women's ideas and discrimination toward mothers to sexual harassment and systemic struggles for women to get promoted. Marie Harrington, a former Sony Interactive senior director, left Sony in 2019 due to, quote, systemic sexism against females. She pointed out instances where women were undervalued against men in calibration sessions, where leadership highlighted high performers at the company. Out of 70 workers being reviewed during a session, only 4 were women. That is a huge discrepancy. It's almost impossible, because it is impossible. Clearly, there's a discrepancy in who's being selected as high performers. Harrington also said men at Sony would rank female employees by their hotness, and pass around filthy jokes and images of women. She also described an instance where an engineer asked her not to wear skirts to work because it was distracting him, and alleged that male engineers went to strip clubs during lunch and shared porn. Wow. In another incident, Harrington, the senior director, said she requested a private lactation room after having twins, and she was required to use a storage room with a broken lock directly off the entrance lobby. She had to stop breastfeeding her children early because it was not sustainable under those conditions. That's just illegal. Not only illegal on so many levels because it's clearly just sexual harassment. It's just pathetic that Sony would give a storage room with a broken lock as a lactation room. It's illegal to provide a lactation room that doesn't have a lock. Other women end up leaving the company for similar reasons relating to sexual discrimination, harassment, or not being able to earn a promotion. One former employee said that happened with 4 of the women in her 5 years at Sony. It also says here that men made comments about women not understanding technology, and another time a senior manager attempted to grab her breasts at an off-site work event. Another former employee described a similar incident at a work event with alcohol. Quote, a male senior manager was getting inappropriately close to me. He hugged me and whispered in my ear. I left and went to the bathroom and told some female coworkers. Soon after that, I transferred departments. Yeah, it's just straight up sexual harassment and assault. Maybe he didn't grab, he attempted to grab, but that is still harassment at the very least. I'm willing to bet all my money that nothing happened to these managers and that there were no repercussions for this terrible behavior. Another former employee wrote a statement to leadership at Sony's Women's PlayStation group because she said 10 women left Sony's Rancho Bernardo office in 4 months. I don't know the numbers, but I'm willing to bet that almost every woman hired has to leave at some point because the sexual harassment and discrimination is so bad that you cannot function. So it sounds like Sony has some serious issues within the company that they need to address. This is an ongoing suit. At the moment, Sony has not responded for comment, but really hoping that they do sooner than later, considering the story has broken almost about a week ago, and I doubt that they will, given that the state of play was just a few days ago. Not the kind of story you want in the media right now. And honestly, I don't think the gaming industry in general cares enough to press them on it. I really hope that this is investigated and Sony does something about these allegations. This is a systemic issue in the gaming industry, and this has happened at multiple studios. I think the reason that this is so prevalent in the gaming industry is because women are not really given those high leadership roles. They're not in often positions of power to speak up or to change these workplaces and their environments. When women are given these leadership roles and positions, they are treated like token employees and questioned. Although there are a lot of women in gaming, a lot of women in tech, women are constantly being undervalued and underestimated. Like in this article, one of the women that testified said that there were comments made by men about women not understanding technology. I think it's important to highlight that these aren't just harmless jokes, because they do cause harm to women because they are real beliefs that some men have. Everything you think and say has an impact, which is probably why in this calibration session, only 4 women were selected as top performance. As a woman too, it's just very disheartening. Like, why would you want to join the games industry when all that you hear about the games industry is how unfair they are to women and how hard it is for the women that are in the industry and how they have to constantly be harassed and discriminated against. And these women, they know that, and they're brave enough to go into these positions anyway, but it's still so bad that they eventually have to leave. These kind of conditions are intolerable for women. Things have to change. I'm a woman in leadership in an industry that's not gaming, but that is still predominantly male. So most of the time I'm giving orders, I'm giving it to my male coworkers. And a lot of them do not take orders well because they don't want to take orders from a woman. I would say you're constantly being underestimated and you're constantly being scrutinized and you constantly have to deal with discrimination, even sexual harassment. I'm not sure what the percentage of women that have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace is like, but unfortunately I've experienced it. Because I am a woman in a leadership role, I do try to call attention to these problems that I see. I do speak up about them, but just because I have a leadership role and I speak up about them doesn't mean that the dozens of men in higher leadership positions above me take any of my concerns seriously. I think that's the real problem at the crux of it. You can't just have one woman in leadership and then your whole board is male. You have to have women and men at all levels. I believe these women and I definitely feel for them, and I hope that they are not just completely overlooked, as has been the case with so many women in the past. But that won't happen unless we actively talk and discuss these issues and shine light on them, because if we just overlook it or see it as not a big deal, it just continues on and on and on. This has been a gaming news update by Higher Level Gaming. Don't forget to go play some video games and have a good day.